very full attention. We're going for green tomatoes. Again, why are we using green tomatoes?
Fry, something on it.
Dat Youth Farm has a mission to nurture a diverse group of young leaders through the meaningful work of growing food. We hire teenagers to work on our farm to grow food for their community, 60% of which they sell and 40% of which they share.
Dat Youth Farm is a 4-acre farm in New Orleans City Park, and the idea is to get high school students out on the farm as a first-time job opportunity, learning how to grow food, harvest that food, sell it at market, and at the same time eat healthy.
We have a city with a tiny fraction of the grocery stores you'd normally find in relation to a population. We have an epidemic of type 2 diabetes, we have an epidemic of childhood obesity, and the myriad health problems that come from those situations. To find a work of architecture and landscape architecture that somehow takes on that gigantic cultural issue, addresses it through design, at the same time as architecture students are learning about the capacity for architecture to engage those large issues and the possibility that architecture can address those large issues. This is a real important thing about the Dat Youth Farm.
This will be their offices on this end of the container. So there'll be a series of desks lined up along this wall, and then they also get a window that will look out over the fields.
Big visions require great leaps of faith and then slow plodding towards that vision every day. So it's a combination of things that are scary at moments, but you have to keep the faith that money will follow vision, which I think in this case we've found.
The Tulane City Centre is the Applied Research and Outreach Centre at the Tulane School of Architecture. We function much like a community design centre. I got a call one day. There was some interest from up high in the university on looking at how some of the school reform work Tulane University is involved with could perhaps get involved with some of the urban agriculture, food justice, youth leadership work. So I call Johanna and say, what do I do? And she had an idea.
I started realizing how many of my students were working in the fast food industry and how that was just it seemed like to me such a waste of a first exposure to work, you know? So kind of the idea of starting a farm to hire young adults to grow food was born in my mind.
We just started piecing together not only what a program could look like, but how we stand something up in a way that it's a sustainable project, and that was kind of the first step.
Trying to address the whole food ecosystem in one project for high school age students is a huge undertaking, but we think it's a really laudable goal. The role that design has with this is important as well, that we have architecture students who are really learning that design can truly engage the pressing problems of our time.
This has been a project spanning about 2 semesters plus a summer, where our college students have been working with the Dat youth and the staff at Dat to help understand their needs, program the site, and then design a solution that works best for those needs. And it's been a real back and forth process, collaborative process.
We had been around roughly 5 years when this started, and we felt like we had enough of a track record to go out and translate some of our work into a broader set of infrastructure that a community group could use to stand up a project.
One of the things that we really want the college students to understand as young designers is that design is great and design is important and design can make a difference, but you're not going to save the world by making a beautiful object. But if you, as a designer, can plug in with a community partner in a group and a larger community that's all working towards a goal, you can be part of a team that's really transformative. I think a project like this is hard for a group of design students because they're all used to working on their own separate projects in school, and here they have to really work collaboratively and they have to respond to the community clients' needs, community partners' needs. As they're building, the site is coming into use, and so A lot of the design is sort of changing as we go to fit the needs that the community client is telling us about as they're starting to use the space. So the design continues to evolve as it's being built in response to the community partners' requests.
It has been challenging, and it's also been seated within the larger context of knowing that we have the great blessing to have a campus being constructed for us, specifically designed around our uses and our goals for the space. So at GrowDout, we're a values-based organization, and gratitude is one of our values. And so I think that any moment of frustration about the timeline of the construction has been overshadowed by like the great gratitude that I and I know the rest of the team feel for what is going to be a beautiful space that we'll use for many, many, many years.
And as the people responsible for building it, we are appreciative of this values-based system and understand there is a limit to gratitude, and we don't take for granted what Johanna just said, and we are really driving to the finish line. And I think that is a responsibility in the kind of work that we do. While it's really good to have such a wonderful connection and relationship based on this shared value system, we've also got a responsibility to deliver a high quality product in as timely manner as we can and be responsible to our client. We have some expertise, and we reserve the right to respectfully disagree or challenge what a community thinks the best idea for their particular project is. We don't impose our vision on it. We have a discussion about it and we propose alternatives. And that always builds a much stronger project in our mind. We always develop much better, deeper personal connections and ongoing friendships when there's been a little struggle and challenge, because people get that you're invested in the project and striving for excellence.
So when we pick, all you're going to be doing is just kind of twisting, not pulling, but just kind of snapping almost. These are hard, so they're not going to squish you.
So the work of actually bringing young adults out to this farm and hiring them to grow food is being done in a lot of other places. I think what is specifically unique about our way of doing that is in many ways the relationship and the process between the university and this project.
Our youth spend about 50% of their time like in the farm, doing physical labor, growing, doing everything from building the rows you see here to cooking the food or selling it. So they do the whole nine, and that's about 50% of their time. The other 50% of their time is in lessons or like discussions and things of that nature. So we get to like watch them grow and become stronger workers, but we also get to see, to have a glimpse inside their personal life. One of our crew members who works here now, he said right after Katrina, he remembered he and his father canoeing through here. With their perspective, and just to see how far it turned around, most of our youth are about 16, so they were like 10 years old, 9 to like 10 years old when Katrina happened. So their memories are very, very vivid.
I mean, we've thought a lot about how this project fits into New Orleans post-Katrina. I believe very strongly that the space that Johanna and Leo and their team have created out here fundamentally addresses some of those needs to heal within the young people.
Sadly, Katrina is only one of many traumas that the young people that we work with have dealt with. And it's amazing because I was just thinking, my whole goal here is to create like a safe space for 20 young people for 5 months. It seems like it shouldn't be that hard. But the reality of their lives is that they're constantly being exposed to a level of trauma that I think is unimaginable to most people. And they come here and consistently say, when they check out at the end of a workday, one of our students who had just lost a close friend of his to murder said, "I feel much better than I did when I got here." And that is on the one hand a very small thing, and on the other hand a very big thing. I think if there's anything really truly revolutionary that we're doing here, it's being in relationship with one another in a way that says, can you hold up a mirror to me and tell me a little bit about who I am and how I can be better? And it is amazing what you hear from people when you're willing to sit with them, and it is amazing the love that they give you that feedback when you open yourself up to it. And I think that kind of integrity just resonates. The young people in our program, most of them do not have access to spaces like this space, you know? Spaces that are designed with intention, that are built with care, that are beautiful and thoughtful. So for them to be able to come here and feel ownership over a space that is created with such care and quality sends a super clear unspoken message to them. Through that space, we're saying we value you and we expect a lot from you in return.
GrowDad is part of the solution, and it's part of a network of solutions that start with small concentrated efforts and then ripple outward through our culture.
It's been an amazing team effort from the staff, the students, the accountant at school that has to process all the payments. I think it's taken a lot of people to get this far, and it'll take many more people to get it to the finish line, and just understanding what a small piece of a large puzzle everyone is a humbling thing.